Hey everyone, I am Michelle Cooper, owner of Alchemy Accounting and Bookkeeping Services, and this is our Say Yes to the Mess interview series. At Alchemy, we help entrepreneurs say yes to the mess of their finances. And what I believe is that how we do one thing is often how we do everything. So there could be other messy areas of your business going on. And how about we get things cleaned up all over the place? So I bring in amazing guests, people that I use personally and that I would highly recommend and are extremely knowledgeable. And today my guest is Kristin from Caffeinated Design Studio. Welcome, Kristin.
Thank you, Michelle.
Awesome. We met as part of Nikki Rausch's Sales Maven Society, right?
Right.
Yeah. And Nikki's been a guest on here as well. If everybody remembers, Nikki is a sales maven, and she gave some really great advice on sales skills. So today I'm excited to learn about websites. I'll share with you guys that for a few years, my website was like the biggest pain in my side. Like there always seemed to be a problem that was always like crashing. It was a nightmare. And I got to the place where I was just so fed up with it. And and I reached out in Sales Maven Society and I said, "Hey, I think I just need to start again and create a new website." And so many people recommended you. And so we had a conversation and I was like, can we just trash the existing site? Like, can we just eliminate it? Like, make it disappear from the world?
And I believe that's what
And start
happened before we were even doing the new site, is the old one just got deleted.
right? Like I totally manifested that shit. Um, because the website, it got hacked or something, right? And
Yeah.
it just went down. It was awful. And you were able to create an amazing website that I have now and that so many people comment on. And
I'm glad to hear it.
yeah, and just as a testimonial for Kristin, uh, I don't think I've got a lead off of my website in years, 5 years maybe. Like most of our business comes in through referral. And within the first month of my website being live out there in the world, we got three bookings on our calendar. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that turned into three new clients, which was
That's it.
fantastic, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm extremely grateful. And if anybody is like, if your website's the pain in your ass, you need to give Kristin a call for sure. So, can you tell us a little bit about you and about Caffeinated Design Studio?
Sure. So, as Michelle said, I'm Kristin Heffley. I founded Caffeinated Design Studio a little over 10 years ago. Our goal is to provide um, creative and strategic design solutions for small business owners. We work with people all across the US and internationally. Obviously, we have some Canadians. And we are a completely remote business. My team all work in the US, but remotely. So we are able to kind of keep our costs down a little bit to provide agency service at a boutique price. So
Nice.
we're very passionate about design and brands, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Love it. Love what we do.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of stepped my foot in the water with you with some lead pages. You had like an amazing deal on for lead pages. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Even though, if I'm really honest with everybody, I have not really used my lead pages to their most advantageous. They're not really shared right now,
But
but
they're
they will be in the
very,
future.
yeah,
They're
very
totally pretty.
cool.
I love them. Awesome, awesome. So where are you located?
We are outside of Seattle.
Nice, nice. So I was wondering if you can tell us, like obviously I kind of shared my story about my website, but what is the typical lifespan of a website?
That's a really good question. There is no hard and fast rule. It depends on a lot of factors. Usually, my go-to rule of thumb is if it's been about 5 years, it's time to take a close look. It's not necessarily time for a new website, but it's definitely time to take a close look at it. But the range is typically between 2 and 5 years.
Right, right, which
Um,
is totally what I hit.
there are some things that you can ask yourself if you're wondering if you need a new website. You can ask yourself, are your customers happy and converting?
Mhm.
Like Michelle said, if your website's not converting, then it might be time to take a look at why that could be. And there are a lot of reasons. Is it starting to cost you more to fix problems than it is to keep the site up?
Mhm.
Technology changes constantly, as we all know.
Yeah, it's like a moving target, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so that can really affect the efficiency and the functionality of your site, and you may not even know it. Are your competitors doing it better than you? If you take a look at your competitors and their website is much better, that can really damage your reputation. No matter how good you are when someone hires you, if the first impression they have of you is your website and it's not doing you any favors, then it's actually damaging.
Right.
Are you missing out on new technologies? When websites went to mobile friendly and responsive, a lot of sites got left behind. And so you want to make sure that you're up to date on new technologies and everything's continuing to work together. And
Yeah,
uh, and if you start to answer these things and think, maybe it's time for a new website, then the best thing to do is to talk to a professional because it may be that you just need some updates. You don't
right,
necessarily have to start from scratch.
right, right. Awesome. Yeah, like, I think like seeking the advice of a professional and making an informed decision about like what is the right decision for you is important, right? Because there's always options available to people.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. So,
What is like you talked a little bit about like kind of like the back part of your website or like maintaining a website, and I found this really interesting. I was like, I didn't know you had to do that. Um, what is something that people don't do to maintain their website, but they absolutely should?
well, there's a lot that should be done. We actually put together a handbook with a step-by-step guide to what you should do daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly, annually to keep your website up to date. If you are doing everything you should, it's it takes some time, but it's important. But the number one thing that people really need to do is just look at it every once in a while.
Mm,
A surprising number of people, business owners, have their website built or build their website and then never look at it again until somebody complains that it's broken.
right.
And so,
That was
really,
me.
you should be going through it occasionally and just making sure that everything's working the way it should,
Hmm,
that everything still looks the way it should. When you have a WordPress website, especially when you have plugins and WordPress is updating their code and the plugins are updating their code, these things aren't all happening at the same time. And so there can
right,
be conflicts that can actually break your site if you aren't on top of it. So
right,
that's one really important thing is just keep an eye on it, take a look at it. Um, a few other things that people really should be doing is to make sure that you have an external backup. Don't rely only on your host and don't back up to your website's server. You want it to store your backup somewhere external, like Dropbox or Amazon Web Services, somewhere offsite, just for
right,
that extra added security. Because if your server goes down for some reason, you don't want to lose your website and all your backups.
right, right.
Um, you can sign up for downtime alerts. So if your website goes down, you'll know it.
Okay.
That doesn't cost anything. And little things like running a broken link scan every few months to make sure that there aren't broken links on your site. Those things can really help not just the user experience, but having broken links can negatively impact your search engine optimization. So you want
Right,
to be on top of that.
right. Well, that's amazing. So Colleen, just I don't know if you can see the comments, but I see Colleen Swatsky just said I downloaded the book. That's great. Wonderful
Oh,
guidelines. Yeah. So in the little ticker thing at the bottom here, I've got the link to Kristin's do-it-yourself guide. So if you want to grab that, it is a super valuable resource. So
yeah.
and people
Everything,
don't, sorry, go ahead.
everything that's in there are the things that we do when we're maintaining our client websites.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure that we kind of got into as much detail as we could without making it an entire book.
Yeah, totally.
Everything in there is important.
And so you bring up a good point, right? People can do this themselves or they could hire you or somebody like you, but I would
Mhm.
say hire you to do this work as well, right?
Mhm.
And and so like do you have to build somebody's website in order to support it?
We don't. It has to be WordPress,
Okay.
and we do need to get in and take a look at it uh, before we can commit to anything, because when we didn't build a site, there's a lot we don't know about it.
Right.
When we do take on a site care client whom we did not build the site for, we do have a $249 kind of onboarding fee,
Hmm.
uh, because we have to get in and really dig deep and make sure everything is current and up to date and in good shape before we start maintaining it.
Right. And I think that's totally fair, right? Like, and here's, if I put my accountant hat on and think about profitability. Where's the most profitable place for you as a business owner to spend your time? I doubt it's in the back end of your website, to be honest. I know for me, it's not. Absolutely. I don't, the
Yeah,
amount of times where I think I respond to people. So I kind of have like a team, right, that you're part of. And they'll send me or include me. They're not even sending it to me, I don't think. They're including me in emails back and forth. And I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about right now. So I'm just gonna like opt out of this. And I'm sure you guys can figure it out. And you always do. So
yeah, we
I
do
am
copy
incredibly
you on a
grateful.
lot of stuff that I figure you'll ignore, but
Right?
you want to
It's
make
like,
sure you're in the loop.
is this English language you're saying? Like, I don't even know what this is. So yeah, I can appreciate that. So I would just, advise people to think about what you charge your time out at and how long it would take you to do this kind of work. Like, it's great if you've got the time to do it yourself and you are fairly
Mhm.
confident in that. But if you're getting busy in your business, you'll want to outsource this because it's not expensive, right?
Yeah, thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. And so I always think like websites are really interesting, right? And like people have this kind of like I don't know if it's a belief or an opinion or something like that, there's some kind of like danger around websites. What can you share with us about website security that maybe we don't know?
Uh, the the short answer is we don't know anything. Like there's very little that we know, that most people know about website security. It's unless you really specialize in it, there's just no way to know everything. It's a constantly moving target, chasing after a lot of bad guys who are constantly trying to come up with new ways to mess with us, right? Um, but there are things that you can do to mitigate that.
Hmm.
And it's really, really important that every website owner, in particular WordPress website owners, do. And I
Oh,
don't say that
good
to,
information.
yeah, I'm not that I'm aligning, maligning WordPress, because I love them, but because they're so widely used, they're a bigger target,
Right.
right? So many companies use them that they're a target for the bad guys. So there are certain things you should do. Besides keep an eye on your website. That's really important. You want to make sure that your website uses current best practices. For that, you're going to need to talk to a professional who knows what those are. And you want to have a contingency plan for if the worst happens. So if your website is hacked and you start hearing from people that maybe a page is going somewhere it shouldn't, or if they're not showing up, or your site is down, there are a lot of different indicators. what do you do? And you want to make sure that you have a relationship with someone that you can reach out to.
Mm,
Um, for our clients, obviously that's us.
right.
But there are other things that you can do to mitigate that. And that is, there's some tools that you can use to monitor and scan your site regularly to check
Oh,
for things like malware. You want to make sure you have a firewall installed on your website. We use and recommend one called WordFence. There's a free level and a paid level. A lot of small businesses are fine with the free level. The paid level just gives a faster response time and allows you to uh, block certain areas. Like you could actually block Russia or China or any person coming from there. Um, 56% of all internet traffic comes from automated sources. So this was actually kind of astounding to me. Hacking
wow.
tools, scrapers, spammers, impersonators, bots, all these people, more than half of the website traffic is those people or those bots trying to glean information or steal information or inject malware. And so having a firewall will help protect you. You can make sure that you're scanning Sucuri, which is Sucuri. They have a free scanner that you can use. They also have a paid service. Make sure you're running those regularly. I would recommend at least once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then make sure that if you haven't already, make sure you've moved your website to HTTPS. If your website is not secure with HTTPS, then the browsers are going to start flagging it. It's
Oh,
going to negatively impact your SEO. It's going to negatively impact reputation, and it's going to negatively impact your conversions. So it's really important that you get what's called an SSL certificate if you don't already have one, so that your website says HTTPS in the browser.
oh, that's great. That's like a nugget of gold.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. So good. Well, like this is a world that I know for me, I don't understand, and I
Mhm.
rely on a professional. Um, and I'm okay not to understand it, right? To me, the fee that I pay you every month just to make sure that I'm still okay out there in the internets or interwebs, uh, and everything is secure is like a peace of mind fee, right?
Mhm.
And we want to be visible to our ideal clients. So yeah, there's always more we can do for SEO ranking and all these kind of things, but the very basis of having an online presence is everything that you just shared now. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
The,
sharing that.
the basic role of maintenance really is just to make sure that you're not damaging yourself, that your
Yeah,
website isn't damaging you. There's a lot you can do to boost everything. You can do campaigns, you can do long-term SEO projects, but you very least want to make sure that you're not damaging your business or your reputation. And
right,
that's what website maintenance, keeping on top of your website will help with that.
right, right. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so
You're
much,
very
Kristen.
welcome.
This is amazing value for people. As I said, I highly recommend, Kristen, if you are wanting to kind of up level your online presence, your online profile with your website, Kristen's team are phenomenal. The design skills that you have are like over the top,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's not just my opinion. Like I so I was working with a coach who is very seasoned in the online business world, and she was like, your gal has created some amazing graphics.
yeah.
And
We do all types of print and digital graphic design as well as websites. So
yeah, so like if somebody needs something, like you are my go-to person,
yeah,
for
thank
sure.
you.
And super reliable and stuff like that. So Colleen says, how do you balance getting help with letting go of control of your website? Oh, does that happen?
Well, that's a really good question. Most people that I have found are thrilled to let go of their website,
Yeah, like,
right?
have
Yeah.
it.
Um, uh, I, my philosophy is that every business owner should have full ownership of their website. For that reason, at Caffeinated Design Studio, we don't host your website for you. We want your hosting to be in your name. Everything should be in your name and under your ownership.
Right.
And so you still have access. You can still do things if you want to do them. Um, depending on what site care plan you choose with us, you'll get a certain number of support requests each month. And so some of our clients will do small things themselves and save their support request for something a little more technical or that's more difficult. You can still post your own blog posts if you want. I mean, you still have control, but we are there to make sure that everything is secure and locked down and up to date. And we run
Right.
those scans and all of that. Oh, one quick thing that I forgot to mention when we're talking about security. One of the biggest things that you can do is to make sure that you have a secure password for your admin account, and don't use admin as your username, because the hackers, when they're trying to using bots to try to break into your site, one of the first things they do is they try using admin as the username.
Oh, again, another
The next thing they'll do is to use your business name.
oh,
So they're trying these things, and so it's best not to use admin, which is the default, but something a little bit more secure and harder to guess.
right, right. Awesome. Yeah. And so really, I guess to answer, just to kind of like sum up your comments or your answer to Colleen's question, it's like you can you can work with people to at a bunch of different levels, right? Like it's not just like all in like
Mhm.
me, or DIY. There's different levels of support that you can offer
Right,
that is kind of based on the customer's comfort level and their budget and stuff like that too,
right.
right? Yeah. And that's I think that's really important. Like we do that at Alchemy with bookkeeping, right? Like some people want us to basically be their accounting department. Other people just want like they want to issue their own invoices. They want to, pay their own bills. They just want us to kind of tidy up the books every month, right?
Mhm.
And so we understand that we need to come in and meet them where they're at and then build trust,
Right,
right? And
exactly.
as we build that relationship, then hopefully we can provide them with more opportunity to make space in their day, which is what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we do
Awesome.
for each other.
Yeah, totally, totally. Well, thank you so much, Kristen. I really appreciate you taking the time
You're
uh,
very welcome. Thanks for
to share
having me.
this. For everybody out there, I can't recommend Kristen and Caffeinated Design Studio more than I probably have gushed already. A really phenomenal skill set, really great people to work with, super reasonably priced. Like it ticks all the boxes as far as I'm concerned.
I have
So
an amazing, amazing team.
yeah, you do.
Really,
You
it's
do.
mostly
And
them.
they care, right? Like I remember at one point I said like, I don't know. And I think it was Anna was like, I just want to make sure that you understand what's going on, right? Like they actually care. So that's an amazing thing out there in the world. You're not just a number or a name kind of thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Thank
Well,
you.
I encourage you all to say yes to your mess in your business. Embrace it, love it. It has gotten you to the place that you're at, and we can have gratitude for that. And we can take action and move forward and clean it all up. And get the support that we need to do that. So, have a great day, have a good weekend, and we'll see you later.
Thank you, everyone.